The Genesis is played at Riviera Country Club in the Pacific Palisades in California. It is a 7,322-yard par 71 with POA greens. Hole number one is a 503-yard par 5 that plays as one of the easier holes on tour, boasts about a 60% birdie rate. So the other two par 5s are on the back nine. They play as the second and third easiest holes. So you definitely want to take advantage of these par 5s. Now, there's 6 par 4s that measure between 450 and 500 yards. So that is something that I am looking at this week stat wise, is guys that can play well on those par 4s, 450 to 500 yards. Par's a pretty good score on those holes. You know, they play as some of the hardest holes on the course, especially the 479-yard 12th hole, which has nearly a 30% bogey rate, which, I mean, that can't be good for anybody trying to score on that hole. Now, the 10th hole is one of the best holes in golf. It's a very short par 4, can play anywhere from 282 yards to 315. So really a risk reward hole where you can try and go for the green, or maybe lay up and have a short chip, but definitely a drivable hole. Going to be very interesting to see what guys do on that hole, and definitely one of my favorites as far as golf goes. As far as irons go, mid to long irons are definitely going to be a must here. We have 27% approach shots coming from 150 to 175, another 23% from 175 to 200, and then another 23% from 200 yards or more. So those mid to long irons are going to be just constantly relied upon here. So definitely want to look at those proximity ranges for your golfers this week, whether making bets or in DraftKings. Now, obviously, longer iron shots come with some lower GIR percentages, coming in at about 57%. So well under tour average. It's hard to hit greens here. And obviously, if you're not hitting greens, you're going to want a little bit of it around the green game as well. And even if you do hit greens, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get a birdie or even a par here, because these are some difficult greens to putt on as well. There are some undulations. Pin placement can be put where it's kind of hard to get to some birdie opportunities here. 3 putts are pretty prominent here. So similar to Torrey Pines and Pebble Beach, this course forces some of the most missed putts inside of 5 and 10 feet on tour. So just keep that in mind as well. As I said, if you're missing greens, going to require some finesse around the greens. Really looking at bombers here. Driving distance does help a little bit, even though the average drive is a little bit below tour average at 283 yards. But I do like some bombers here. Guys that can play with those mid to long irons well, hitting greens. If they do miss greens, a little bit of around the green game is definitely something you want to rely upon. But that's what we're looking at for this week. The cut line the past couple years has been +2, +1, somewhere around there. Now, obviously, this is not going to be a typical cut that we generally see. So really not focusing too much on that, but just to give an idea, we're usually somewhere around -17, -19 for the winner. And then the cut line has been over par. So it is a pretty difficult course, and the guys playing at the top might have a little bit easier of a time, but just some things to keep in mind there.